Hey, what's up? Welcome to the AV Club podcast.
Nice. That was it. And now we're in it.
One take.
Now we're in it.
The end. We're done.
Hello, my guest today is, I've never actually done the intro while the guest was here, so this is kind of weird. My guest today is, what was your name again?
Taylor, I think.
My guest today is my bride. That's what I call her. The old ball and chain, the old bride.
I was going to say that. Just note that this episode's name will be Taylor Villa instead of Taylor Martinez, like last time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's weird. Was it the same? We were sitting across. It was the old configuration.
It's a different setup, but.
Well, Taylor, thanks for coming all the way down here to record this with me and talk to me a little bit. I wanted to have you in for a long time. I just couldn't get it on the schedule. We couldn't get it scheduled out. But we got some exciting things coming up, and we have some exciting news. Clearly, whoever listens to this, if anybody listens to this, I've mentioned
That's so weird.
I've mentioned that I've gotten married quite a few times already. This is my wife, Taylor. She wasn't my wife when we got married, but now she is my wife, and
True.
That's what we're going to talk about today. I wanted to bring her in and discuss kind of post-marriage, middle of the marriage, like ceremony, engagement period. Wedding period, marriage period. We've been married for a couple of months now, so we have
5
lots of knowledge on the subject. Yeah, almost.
Something like that. Or, I don't know.
Well, actually, tomorrow will be 5 months, right?
No. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow on the day will be 5 months. And
the 11th, not whatever day you're listening to this.
Yes, on July 11th, not the 18th or whatever day this comes out. But anyways, Taylor, how does it feel to be married? This is just a general question to start us off, but how does it feel? How does it feel to be married to your boy?
I'm so lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the right answer?
No.
No, it's fun. It's just hanging out with your best friend every day.
Me?
Yeah.
Or Mr. Jack?
Both.
Your best friends?
The whole fam.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's it?
Mostly.
It is fun.
It's got its ups and downs.
Yeah.
I think mostly it's fun. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
We have fun with.
You know, I was thinking about it, and marriage is fun. And not that dating wasn't fun before, but just having it solidified spiritually and I guess legally by the state shifted something in it for us, for sure, especially the spiritual aspect of it, knowing that, like under God, we are one now, man and woman. But I was thinking about it and I was like, I wonder if it's fun for everybody, because people have different answers when you ask them, like, what was it like to get married? And some people are like, best day of my life. Some people are like, it felt just like before.
Yeah.
And some people like us are like, it's way different.
Yeah.
Like something changed. And so that was part of the reason why I wanted to get your like take on it, your perspective.
I guess a answer, like all the above is true, yes. I guess the answer I dislike the most, I guess, if you can dislike an answer, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is best day of my life. Because it's one day. Your wedding is one day.
Yeah.
Your, anniversary is one day out of the year.
Right.
It's the rest of the year that matters. Like what you do in between that matters.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. I've actually never thought of it like that either.
I didn't think about it until just now. I was like,
That's hilarious. I like the fact that the wedding day was weird. Let's talk about
how we planned a wedding in 2 months.
You planned the wedding.
We planned a wedding in 2 months. I might have did the bulk of it, but we did it together.
Yeah. Let's start. So, okay, we'll start from the very beginning. So engagement period for us was super short. We got engaged in November of 2021. And we were, this is one of the weird parts about like engagements and marriages is like when two people have two different opinions and two different wants on what the time frame looks like.
Yeah.
So I think we were lucky that we were both wanting it to happen quick, right? Like let's just get married as soon as we can was kind of the idea. And for me, I was like, dope, let's do it tomorrow. I'll go to the courthouse, like we'll do the paperwork, and we'll be married in a week.
Yeah.
And my thought was like we'll have a larger party or get together later when it's like we'll be able to afford it. It'd be a little less expensive since it wouldn't be a whole ceremony, and I don't know. I don't even know if that's true or not, but that was my thought. Yours like, nah, I kind of want my family to be there the first time. And I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And it was.
You want the whole day of being a bride is fun. I mean, I guess if you dream for that,
right,
then that's what you want. But if you don't, then sometimes it can be that simple. I mean, I think my decision was our decision, but when we talked about this, my side of it was less about, I think, like the day of it, and it was more about like being sure that we had family and close friends and church family around us, and making sure that that day was about us, but mostly about glorifying the gift that we were being given by Jesus.
Gift of marriage,
Yeah. And so I think wedding day, it did just that.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it did just that for guests and for sake of just glorifying God and what he did for us over the course of the year leading up to engagement, and then what he did for us throughout engagement, and honestly, how well he planned our wedding for us.
Honestly, that's a huge thing. Honestly, throughout our whole period of dating, right? Because we have a weird, like, kind of starting point. Some people, whenever I tell people our story, they're like, oh, that's crazy. And some people are like, oh, that's awesome. Like, that's cool. You guys were friends
Mixed
before.
emotions.
Yeah. And I mean, brief, for those who don't know, I was really good friends with her brother, who's my best friend currently and previously, and met through him just being around their family and stuff. This was like in high school when she was already in college. We were like about to be out of high school and college. And then slowly over the years after I graduated, more specifically, we started to reconnect and talk more. And then
turned into this.
It blossomed into marriage. And really cool, really, really odd how the Lord shifted that and worked. Honestly, it was crazy. Like legit, I vividly remember like seeing you and hanging out with Daniel, never thinking anything past like, oh, that's my best friend's sister. You know? Literally. And then fast forward a couple years and we're like dating, and then now we're married. It's really cool. But I think God, first of all, had his hands in our relationship the whole time, because we dated throughout COVID, which for most people was hard. A lot of people broke up during that time because they spent so much time with the other person. You know, like too much time. I've heard a lot of stories like that where you're like, oh, I've spent too much time with this person. I don't know if I really enjoy them that much. Yeah. But we were really close in proximity to like when we lived during COVID time. It was just really blessed. And then the wedding was, a lot of doors were opened that we didn't expect to be opened financially, and just literally like within, like with, whether it be a venue or food or like people helping us out, like family and friends helping us out. It was really cool, but
just all worked.
Yeah.
Just all, there was not once where we told no, or this can't work, or this, like everything that we wanted or thought of or dreamed of being a part of that day was just made itself work.
Yeah.
And even like guests and stuff, like we were pretty small and intimate, and so we didn't have a huge party, which would have been fun, but at the same time, like I don't think that day could have been any better.
Yeah, truly. And I honestly, that was, as cliche as it is, that was probably one of the best days of my life. Just because of all the emotions, all the family you get to see that you don't maybe not get to see very often.
Yeah.
Like your family from California flew down. My family from West Texas was present, and I haven't seen a lot of them in months or years. And same with your family. And it was just a great day.
Yeah.
It was just an all around great day.
Yeah. But I would also say leading up to that, like your engagement period, like you spend so much time dating and like getting to know each other, and like, am I ready to commit? Am I ready for marriage? Am I ready for, like, you make those decisions leading into engagement, and then engagement is where you can really talk about marriage, because okay, we're about to get married. Like, now let's have these bigger conversations of, sometimes it's finances, sometimes it's, how to communicate better, there's no perfect way to communicate. You're going to be learning that forever. But, and by no means do we know, but what we've been taught, or what we've asked, or what we've, I think one of the smartest things that we could have ever done for ourselves was make sure that there was some form of premarital with our church and with people that we trusted and could get real with and could have those deeper conversations where they would kind of challenge us or set us straight or lead us in the biblical way of marriage.
Right.
And I think that opened our eyes to a lot more about each other, but also a lot more of like what our goals are for this marriage. And so I think that was like life-changing for us, and we got it done in like 5-6 weeks. I mean, we knocked it out weekly, but
it didn't take, like, it wasn't like a month's worth of doing it. Like we did what we could to the fullest ability that we could do it. And we got a lot out of it, which was super helpful. And it didn't even necessarily have to be people within our church. It was like, I think it for us specifically, it really helped. But we were able to get vulnerable with them, and they had the right questions. They asked the right questions that got our minds working and our hearts working. And I think one of the big key themes that I've been seeing recently, like in my personal life and definitely in our marriage, is that whenever I shift like the focus from me to either we or God and then we, and then me is like third or even fourth on that list, things kind of start to work a little bit better. Because, like I've been stressed recently with a bunch of different stuff going on with us. And I'm like, every time I get stressed, I'm like, all right, what do I have to do to help this situation? What do I have to do to like make it better? And like, I realize it mid stress. I'm like, dude, I'm not the guy, like I'm not the one I can rely on, because if I was, I wouldn't be in this situation in the first place.
Nor are you alone in that fight or in that.
Yeah. And so like
stress.
when we lean on God, and which we did in premarital and working our way all the way up to this marriage, it was just literally life changing. Yeah. But that's a good thing to segue into like the challenges. What are the challenges that you think we've faced besides the communication? You mentioned that. What do you think there's some challenges? And if you want me to go first, I can, because I have a lot. No, I have a couple that I just thought of, like literally just now. But it's things like we're still our own selves, right? Just because we got married and spiritually we are one and we're man and wife now, it doesn't mean that we don't have our own preferences or tendencies still. And sometimes we do things differently, and it gets on each other's nerves, that's not even a communication thing. That's just like a preference thing, or like a tedious, like
sometimes it gets as simple as like a certain way you open what did we say the other day? Like a certain way I started making the ground turkey. Like I opened it a specific way, and you were like, "Oh, but I usually do it this way." And I'm like,
"It's wild."
It's as simple as like stuff like that.
It's so weird.
Or it's like You just catch your tongue because, like, what does it matter? It's all going in the pan anyways.
Yeah, we're going to cook it and eat it regardless of how it gets cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. And personally, for me, that's how I've always been. And so it's hard. It's hard catching yourself and like dying to that previous version of yourself and saying, does this actually matter?
Yeah.
Or is this just me being annoying? Most of the time it's me being annoying. But no, honestly, I do it a lot. But those are some of the challenges that we've faced so far. Another challenge is financially is like you live, and this one's honestly on me again. But like when you
I'm glad we're calling out your
when you
areas.
when you're single and you're just living for yourself and you work, you make your own money, you pay your own bills.
Yeah.
It's kind of easy once you get the system, right? Like you know your system, you know if you're going to be good that month or bad that month or whatever the case may be. And then combining finances or however you decide to go about it when you get married. But like combining that, figuring out a budget for not only one person, but two people. Mm-hmm. And ours is a different kind of challenge because I'm like self-employed.
Yeah.
And so that we have some highs, some lows. And then the lows are like, you got to carry the brunt of the work financially. And then, that's another challenge that's just unique to marriage, I think, because when else would you combine your finances with somebody?
Yeah.
You know?
All or nothing.
But it's interesting because it is literally all or nothing, which makes it awesome. I remember at the beginning of our relationship, maybe it was like a couple months in. I'm confessing something. No, I'm just kidding. At the beginning of our relationship, I remember telling you.
Nervous giggles.
I remember telling you that pretty much like I have a hard time committing. So I was like, dude, don't ever talk about marriage. Don't talk about being engaged. Don't talk about even a couple of months from now, like our plans, because that freaks me out. I don't want to think about that down the line. I want to think about today. I want to think about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And I told you that a couple times.
I think you said that. You had said that before we even like really started dating.
Yeah, I did.
Like,
because that was a fear of mine.
I don't know about this. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a fear because you're a little older than I am. And so I was like,
just a little.
There's a little bit, there's like age has a lot to do with like future planning and where you're at, where you think you're ready to be in a year or two. And so that was a big thing. Hey, dude, don't expose the wall. It's pink. And that was one of my fears. And so I told you that early on, but I think it was probably one of the best things that we could have done for my sake.
Yeah.
Because I didn't freak out because we never talked about it. And then like, obviously I knew you were ready for marriage, right? We were kind of both at that point where we're like, where's this going to go? Like 2 years. I don't know. It gets to the point, especially as the guy, you start thinking about it and you're like, okay, maybe I should get a ring. Maybe I should prepare for this. And then you like, you're either in the process of getting a ring or you have the ring and you're like, okay, so when do I do it? Like, how long am I allowed to hold on to this thing for? Is there like a month period of time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a weird buffer period where you're like, this is it. I mean, now what? Like, you know, you're kind of ready or else you wouldn't have gone to the steps of finding one or looking for one.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you just have to like take the leap and do it. But, yeah, it's kind of wild. I remember telling you that a long time ago, but, we've talked about the day of the wedding. Let's talk about kind of post-wedding vibes.
Post-wedding vibes.
Like not immediately after, but like all the way up until now. What do you think?
Oh, so we're not going to talk about 3 days after our wedding, you left for California.
Oh, yeah.
And left me here for 4 days.
You can talk about it.
That was post-wedding.
Explain to the people.
I'm not her.
That was a weird trip.
It was a work trip.
I got paid a little bit.
To my brother's place in LA.
I did a shoot with Daniel 3 days after we got married. And I left for 3 days. It was a very poor choice. It was fun. I don't regret it, but I regret it being that long.
Yeah.
It was
There's definitely like a phase after where you're like honeymoon phase. Mm-hmm. That's why you honeymoon after, but we weren't in the place to honeymoon after like right away. We also got married so quickly that just financially and work-wise, it just didn't work, but we were just ready to get married, and so we did. And so now we get to go on our honeymoon. Actually, we're leaving in 2 days.
Yeah, we're leaving on the 12th.
Yeah.
And this episode will be aired on that Friday, so we'll be
on a cruise.
We'll literally be on a cruise in the middle of the ocean whenever you folks hear this, you lovely people.
True that.
Yeah. I want to touch back on the fun thing. Marriage is fun.
Oh.
Right? I think I'm bringing it back, but I don't know if it's like that for everybody, you know? I think we're really blessed because we have fun with each other. Mm-hmm. Pre-marriage, we had fun with each other. Now it's a different level of just like emotions that we feel for each other.
Yeah.
And we know that it's for life, and there's
fun.
It's, I don't know, it's super fun. And now we mess around all the time. We everywhere we go is fun. We make it fun. And it's just, I think that marriage is fun with you marry a fun person, or like you're dating the right person, or you're marrying the right person.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We have a
but it's also not by any means, like, we do have a lot of fun. You're right. But we also, like, we argue, we get into it with each other. We drop the ball on communication.
Yeah.
We, mope around the house sometimes. It's just not talking to each other.
Yeah.
And it's not healthy by any means, but we're figuring it out. And as we go, it's just forever changing.
Yeah.
Communication is forever changing, and we're both as well evolving and changing in our faith, and changing in our marriage, and changing in our own personalities sometimes. And so we have to keep up with each other and in that change. And so I think, I
think that's why they say marriage is hard, right? It's because nothing is like, once you get married, it's not that forever. It's ups and downs and twists and turns.
Yeah, well, life is hard in general. And so when you just add a person
and a dog
to living that and a dog to living that life with, it doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah.
It makes it more fun, and it makes it it makes it more, I don't know, like, it provides more stability almost, because you have someone that you has your back. And
that's what I was going to say.
And sometimes, like, even spiritually, like, like, God's got you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but sometimes you get in that place of just tough times in your faith, and you know that you have a husband or a wife who will draw you back into that, because they love you so deeply, and because they love the Lord so deeply. And so I think that we've done a good job so far. 5 months in, we've done a good job so far, placing God in the middle of it. And
we could always do better, though. I think that's
and hopefully that's everlasting. And hopefully there's, when I'm weaker in that, you draw me back in, and when you're weaker in that, you draw me back in. And God draws our relationship closer, and it's just like this, I don't know.
It's accountability. It's having that person to be there for you when times are tough, and even when times are good, to celebrate with you, to cry with you, to everything. It's cool. It's cool because we do feel similar emotions on certain things, right? Like, well, like, if we go through something tragic, we feel that together, and it's helpful to have that person there.
Yeah.
If something happens to me at work, I know I can rely on you to talk to, and
those are just like human basic wants, right? Like, as a human, you want to be able to depend on someone. You want some, and so it's like this super evolving, like, you create this relationship first with God, and then you create this relationship with your husband. Yeah. And all of it, I don't know, it's fun. Like, I don't know any other way to describe it than, like, we just have such a good time with each other. But I also think that both of us are super, like, passionate people. Like, we're both, like, if we're all in on something, we're all in on something. And so marriage has been, like, one of those big things that we really, really enjoy talking about. We
Yeah.
really, really enjoy, like, Daniel, my brother. I don't know if you know him, but
Me? No, you should introduce me.
he's engaged now. And so it's just like,
Yeah.
it's exciting to speak into that or speak truth into that or into other relationships because you know how powerful this gift is or like
Yeah.
how good this gift is that you're being given. And so you want to speak life into that because you know that feeling of it, if that makes sense.
It's exactly. It's like the feeling, and it's a feeling of joy, overwhelming joy.
Yeah.
Right. And you want so many other people to experience it.
Yeah.
The way you felt it, which
Yeah.
everybody's gonna be different. But I mean, if they could have like a little taste of it, then that's what I'm hoping that cake tastes like after we eat it after 1 year.
I know.
Our cake's gonna taste like
It's either going to be super freezer burn or it's going to be really good.
it's gonna taste like veggie tots and French fries because that's what we keep in our freezer. One last thing I wanted to say before we wrap up because I think we should. That was a good.
We have packing to do.
Yeah, we got to pack for
Laundry to finish
for the cruise. For the cruise. One thing I did want to say though is one thing that I want to be better at for you is
oh my God.
I don't want it to ever not feel like a honeymoon phase, which
Yeah.
maybe not as intensely because it's like
Yeah.
it dips, right? There's ebbs and flows. You get used to things. You get used to the feeling.
Yeah.
But I want to do everything in my power to not have a dip that
Yeah.
to where it's just not fun or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to end it on that. But you're supposed to agree and
You
tell me
do
the same thing.
agree.
You're supposed to tell me the same thing. But
I just love you.
I love you too. Okay, we're gonna sign off now. Thanks for joining me. Is there anything else you want to say before we?
No?
That was
You're
killer.
good?
Yeah, I'm
good.
We gotta do this again. That was fun. All right. Thank you later. Thank you very much for coming, and I'll see you later. That's what I meant to say. All right, bye.
Okay, bye.